Hello and welcome to the Wrestling Answers podcast. I'm your host, as always, Miyamo Jeff53, joined as ever by my wonderful co-host, Joebot22.
Me not working hard? Yeah, right. Picture that with a Kodak. Or better yet, go to Times Square. Take a picture of me with a Kodak. Took my life from negative to positive. I just want you all to know that. And tonight, let's enjoy life. Joe Dickables, Jobber Jack. Tell us right.
Okay. I know that was a Pitbull song. I can't remember which Pitbull song. Yeah, right. So yes, with that fantastic introduction,
Well,
so
no,
we're
I
back.
was just like, hey, or whatever. So I thought, let's give him a bit
That's
of a
true.
show.
Yeah, just just sing Pitbull.
Well, we were
Um,
talking about it last night, but
yeah, that is true. Yeah.
uh,
But
yeah.
yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're back to regularly scheduled programming today, and none of that E3 malarkey.
What was worse, the actual E3 shows or the podcast?
Oh, probably the podcast. The podcast was rough.
Well, yeah. I don't like that
So
one.
was E. So was E3.
That's the entire. It was rough, it was. But enough on that.
Yeah. Yeah, because today we have uh other things to talk about than E3. Whoa!
Hey!
Look at that, miraculous. So our first topic of the day, and it's quite ironic that I chose this one. Because this morning, we've got like a group chat with a couple of our friends. Um,
Oh
one
yeah.
of us put something from Hell in a Cell on, and Joe, not realizing yesterday was Hell in a Cell, said, "Is that from last year's Hell in a Cell?" And the guy who sent it said, "No, it's from yesterday's, mate." And he goes, "Oh."
Right.
And that
When
leads me
you said the
directly onto my
topic,
point.
uh,
Why
when you
did
said the
nobody
topic,
care about
I was
Hell in a Cell
confused
this year?
because it was not advertised well,
Well, yeah,
clearly.
that is the simple answer. Yeah.
When you sent the topics list for last night, I was just like, God, I can't remember the last time I watched the Hell in a Cell, but we'll see what they do this year. I just didn't know it was last night, but
Yep. Well, they changed when it would normally be, because normally it would be in October, but for some bizarre reason, they're now doing Hell in a Cell in the middle of June.
whatever.
It's like when they
I
moved Backlash to September a couple of years ago. They're like fiddling with the order of pay-per-views. It's really strange.
let's let him get on with it. I mean, it's clearly not working. So,
Oh yeah. I mean,
but I mean, a lot of these topics are feeding into each other today. I found, but we'll get on to that later on in the
yeah,
episode.
it's
But
because big brain, mate. Yeah. So Hell in a Cell. I'm gonna be completely blunt here. I couldn't tell you any more than about three of the matches that happened on the card. Like, I know there was Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley
again,
again.
again,
Yep, your favourite matchup.
was it 30
Um,
minutes ago?
uh, I don't know because I didn't watch it.
Oh,
Um, I probably could have, but I just didn't. I know there was a match involving Mandy Rose at one point because it showed up on my Twitter because I was scrolling through Twitter late last night. I'd completely forgotten Hell in a Cell was on, and I started seeing tweets from WWE about a Mandy Rose versus Natalia match, and I was like, "What? It's Sunday. Is there? Oh, there's a pay per view on. Oh, so I knew that match was on, and then there was Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre as well, in the cell, I think. But other than that,
Yeah, I remember
genuinely
seeing
couldn't tell
Drew
you
was
a
in
single.
the
Yeah,
cell at one
he
point.
was in the cell,
Of
but
it.
I
Why
just
was it? Why
couldn't.
was the cell red? Was that the lighting, or was it actually just red?
Oh no, the cage is just red now. Like they just make the cage red for some bizarre
Hell,
reason. Well, yeah, I believe they started doing it in 2019 because I think it was actually to do with The Fiend originally, because if you might remember, Seth Rollins and The Fiend had a Hell in a Cell match back in 2019. No, it was 2018 they started doing the Red Cage, sorry. Because I remember it was Braun versus Roman for the WWE Universal Championship, and they just made the cage bright red for no apparent reason. And I don't
all
get it.
these years that Kane has done Hell in a Cell matches,
Yeah.
never once seen it. The minute Big Braun Strowman comes in, oh, we love. Well, we clearly don't love Braun Strowman because they sacked him.
Well,
But
yeah, not anymore. Yeah, but they made the cage red, which they've never explained because A, it wasn't a Raw pay-per-view. It was like a dual branded pay-per-view. And B, why don't you just leave it silver? Even if it is a Raw pay-per-view, you don't see bright blue ladders for SmackDown ladder matches, do you? Like,
they just like paint it once and like, oh, can't be bothered to change it now. Can't be bothered to make an entire new cell or just paint it silver or whatever.
yeah, but it's like they already had a silver cell, so why'd they make it red?
Well, I'm guessing they just painted that one. That'll be my
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. Well, I'm sure they've probably got like a couple cells, considering how many
Well,
times
probably
people have like broken through the walls and the ceilings and stuff. I'm sure they'll have at least like two. So they've got two red ones, two bright red ones now, I'm assuming, because they've obviously got to like fix parts of the walls if they break and stuff.
They have one for every Ricochet attire.
Yeah.
What? This week he's got on a Nightwing outfit, painted black and blue.
Yeah. Just like half the
There's a
cell
man's in the
walls.
back. Why has he changed his
Damn
hair
it!
again?
Damn it! Paint it blue.
He's avoided them COVID restrictions again. God.
Oh god, he hasn't got his mask. Put him in the cell.
That's the only way to keep him fucking quarantined, put him in a cell.
Exactly. Just lock the door up. And try and backflip his way through the door.
Oh, fucking hell.
But yeah,
No,
why did
we look
nobody care about Hell in a Cell? Well, in a cell. I think I think you summed it up very succinctly earlier. I think it's just complete lack of marketing for it. But I also think one of the factors is nobody's watching WWE. So like, why should anyone care?
yeah, true. But like
Because
normally when there's like a pay-per-view, all the time you see it on YouTube, it's like, watch Hell in a Cell this weekend. You will
yeah,
come at Hell in a
yeah.
Cell. You know, and it's like,
Roman
right.
Reigns comes over Rey Mysterio at Hell in a Cell.
You will not believe this shit.
This is fucking ridiculous.
This is poggers. And
Yeah,
and then like that's all you see for like a month. But I'm
yeah.
not seeing any of that. That
No.
was such a
Well,
weird
like, the
segment.
only reason I knew Hell in a Cell was on was because I saw those, like, bits and bobs on my Twitter. And apparently, right, I didn't know this, but they moved Roman Reigns and Rey Mysterio's pay-per-view match off of the pay-per-view and had it on SmackDown instead.
Oh god. Remember when
And they
Rey
just
Mysterio was a big name? Remember that
well, it's
time?
like apparently they did it to get more views on SmackDown. But the really, really sad part,
SmackDown doesn't need more views.
well, the really sad part is, right? All they got was another 100k viewers
Oh,
because, well, I
poor
mean, first
Mysterio.
off, they didn't actually really properly announce it ahead of time. I think like one day before they just said on Twitter, "Oh yeah, we're moving this match to SmackDown," rather than having it on the pay-per-view, and also it's going to be
Watch
in the Hell in a
SmackDown
Cell.
now. Rey
So
Mysterio versus Roman Reigns.
yeah, why don't you watch
Is
Hell in a
it?
Cell, where the biggest match on the card isn't happening anymore
Well,
because
all
they
they
have it on
should do is
SmackDown.
advertise for fucking SmackDown instead.
Well, the thing is, because they had so little time, I believe they didn't advertise it properly. I think they probably ran like two advertisements on Fox. Said, "Yeah, it's on SmackDown now, so you
Just like
better
the guy.
tune in." Yeah, yeah. They're showing
Big
reruns
after
of
Family Guy.
They're showing reruns
So,
of American Dad, and then all of a sudden you just see just Rey Mysterio pop up, just be like, "Hey, yes, me and Roman Reigns are having a match in the Hell in a Cell on Friday in SmackDown. Watch it,
remember when Family
8
Guy did
p.m.
the thing where they
live."
parodied the ads that were appearing at the top of the screen? They should have done that with like
Yeah,
Stewie just being like, Rey
yeah. No,
Mysterio.
there's like I remember there's one in Family Guy where like they did like because obviously some shows they have like pop-up ads at the bottom of it. They did a
Yeah, yeah,
parody thing where it's like one for The Simpsons, but it's like just
yeah. They did
Marge,
like the
and then
Cleveland shows and all that.
the little Quagmire like runs out and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember that one. I
Incredible.
remember that episode.
Remember that Warren
Um,
Taff?
but yeah, I think one of the main contributing factors is nobody cares about the WWE product these days because it is fucking dreadful. And the really funny thing about that is apparently Vince is well aware that the current product is terrible, but he's not going to do anything about it until fans are back in the stadiums.
I don't blame him for that because it'll just be like wasting
Yeah,
money, like booking out venues and stuff.
yeah, but it's like, wouldn't you want to make it interesting before the fans come so that they have a real reason to come back?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because I know they're going to start doing live shows quite soon. Because I remember I saw a load of stuff on Twitter about they've started like actually like they've got venues booked for some Smackdowns and Raws and stuff outside of Florida. So I know they're starting live taping. Well, maybe not. Well, there probably will be live tapings actually. So they've got live tapings booked for I want to say the start of July. So you've got we'll say
Okay,
about
so
two
pretty soon.
weeks. Yeah, you've got 2 weeks. Wouldn't it make more sense to start making things interesting so that people will actually start to buy your horrendously overpriced tickets?
I suppose that is true.
Because you know what's crazy, right? Tickets for WWE shows, they're more than they are to go to like a football game or something.
Oh, I could see it happening. That,
Like I remember because I think I've told this story on the podcast before. I was originally supposed
yeah.
to go to the SmackDown taping of Jinder Mahal losing to AJ Styles for the WWE Championship in Manchester. But the reason we didn't go was because the tickets were like 50 quid each. So my
Bloody hell.
parents just said, well, I'm not paying 50 quid, which is reasonable, when they had a house show. I think it was like the day before. They had a house show for 30 quid. Yeah, 30 quid each. So we went to the house show instead. And I was really disappointed in the end because obviously I would have got to see the first WWE title change in the UK, like ever. Would have got to see that live, which would have been cool as fuck. But yeah, I guess going to a house show where I get to see Braun Strowman squash Elias in 3 minutes is better value for money.
I mean, I don't know how much it would have been back in the day, but I remember like when my dad obviously took us to watch Raw. That I think that was a lot. I'm not sure
Yeah.
though.
Well, like live taping, I can understand live taping tickets being expensive, right? Because obviously it's a fairly big event, I guess. At least, like when they come to the UK, usually they're live taping something interesting actually happens, as opposed
Yeah.
to if it was just in like fucking Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, Wayne Rooney's usually there.
Yeah, Wayne Rooney shows up to Lamp. I was going to call him Stu Bennett then. What's his name? Bad News Barrett. I was going to call him by his shoot name. But yeah, like apparently the tickets for these new live tapings are like ridiculously overpriced compared to what they used to be. But I
God, how
guess I
much
can
are they?
understand. Thing is, right, I can actually understand it, but I can also understand why people are complaining so much because the tickets
Well, they probably
are,
want to make their money back.
yeah, they want to get the money's worth, and all they're going for is like one SmackDown taping. So chances are you're
Yeah,
not going to get your money's worth, even if they had like Goldberg return and Brock Lesnar return and The Rock return. You're probably still not going to get your money's worth even then for however much it would be.
yeah,
Because if I remember, I saw on Twitter like the lowest price that they were doing was like 80 quid or $80, sorry, which is the equivalent of about. Hey, listen, right? The reason the tickets are like 40% more expensive than they were is because we've got to book out the entire arena, but we can only have it at 60% capacity, for example. So we
yeah.
need to make up the extra 40% of people that aren't going to be there in the ticket price.
I respect. Well, I don't. I respect them for like doing it for the COVID precautions, but I also don't respect them for not being like, yeah, this is why we're doing it. Just basically just let us know, right? Like
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I
what you
think
think.
it's one of them cases where if they did actually tell the fans, listen, this is why the tickets are going to be this much, then I think, yeah, you know what, fair enough. At least you've admitted why, and it's not just because I feel like some of the people on Twitter they don't seem to realize this. They can't see the forest for the trees.
Yeah,
They sort of just see, oh, super expensive. How do you expect us to pay this much then? But it's like, well, they can't run a full stadium, but they've got to book out the full stadium. They
yeah,
need to make their
exactly.
money back somewhere. So, of course, the tickets are going to be higher price. You fucking idiots.
Twitter
But
should.
we're not even really talking about Hell in a Cell here. With Hell in a Cell,
Well, I mean,
I mean, like, well, I think even us not talking about it is indicative of the point that we made at the start. Why does nobody care about Hell in a Cell? Because there's nothing interesting to talk about. Like what? You know, Rhea Ripley had a rematch with Charlotte Flair, but Rhea Ripley won this time, I think. And
well, it's a
Bobby
third
Lashley,
match, folks.
Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre had like their ninth match, but this time in a Hell in a Cell. Like who cares? Like, why should I care? You know, it's
Exactly.
more interesting talking about the fucking pricing strategy of WWE's live shows than it is talking about this fucking pay-per-view. It's just like it's a complete non-factor in wrestling. Like, I went on Twitter this morning I didn't see anybody talking about it. And yeah, I follow quite a few wrestling accounts. I don't like actively watch wrestling anymore, but I still follow these accounts to see what's happening, right?
Yeah.
I saw like fuck all from them, you know? Like what I would end up seeing is I saw a couple posts from WWE, and I mean obviously WWE would be tweeting about it, but other than that, I didn't really see anything. I didn't see anyone saying, "Oh, that was a bad pay per view," "Oh, that was a good pay per view." I think everyone's just so
Bored.
they're so
Oh,
not bothered by the pay per view that they can't even be asked to talk about it. It's just, it's pointless. Who cares anymore? If you can't
exactly.
make a good week by week show, why should I bother to watch your fucking pay per view?
No, I mean, I completely agree with that. It's just WWE at the moment. It's just lacking.
Yeah. Well,
Which,
as we said earlier, apparently it's gonna get better when fans are back in stadiums, but I don't know how they're gonna do it, or what are they gonna do? They're gonna bring Bray Wyatt back, maybe.
hope so.
What else could they do? Probably bring The Rock back. Apparently, The Rock's gonna be at SummerSlam, so.
Oh God,
And well, apparently the reason he's coming
I'm
back
done
is
with the Rock
actually to
now.
help. Apparently he's coming back to have a match with Reigns at Survivor Series, but I actually think it's because he's trying to market the new Fast and Furious film.
Oh yeah, of course
I
it is.
think that's the only
It's a
real
summer
reason.
film for a summer show. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
exactly. There you go. Like,
It's like Snickers.
no, I was gonna say it's probably gonna be SummerSlam sponsored by Fast and the Furious.
Right. They should do Over the Limit. Bring that back. That was all about cars.
Yeah, bring that back. That's a good idea.
No, please
I mean,
don't.
I wouldn't replace SummerSlam with Over the Limit, but
Well, well, depends on how
it
good
depends on how
SummerSlam
shite SummerSlam's
is.
gonna be.
I mean, we've not had Over the Limit in a while. At least it'll be something
Maybe
sort
something
of
new.
new.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we've sort of got some of our points across there. Nobody's watching the product. Nobody's buying tickets for the product. Nobody's talking about the product, and that's why nobody cares
Okay,
about
well,
the product because it's
like
shit.
podcast, everybody. Like and
Yeah,
subscribe.
yeah. I got an A level in business. I know what I'm talking about here.
I got a. Oh, I didn't actually.
Yeah, you didn't do business, did you?
I think we have an A level yet.
You gotta have the
Yet.
Sigma. You gotta have the
Yeah,
Sigma mindset.
exactly. All I do is play games.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's not Sigma enough. That's beta. Beta male.
Work.
Beta male. But yeah,
Exactly.
talking about Hell in a Cell and the fact that nobody cares about the product, that leads us directly onto our next point.
Why
Is
does
the
no one care about
wrestling
the product?
industry dying, or is it just going through a transitional phase? And the reason I say, like, is it a transitional phase rather than dying, is because this isn't the first time the wrestling industry has felt so shit. You know, because if you think about like the new generation, for example, for WWE, if you think about the new generation was their worst performing time of all time until now. Like now, this is the worst that WWE's sales and TV viewing and stuff. This is the worst it's ever been now. And the new generation was bad, but this is worse. But as we know, the new generation then led into the Attitude Era, which is literally the biggest wrestling has ever been in history, or at least in the last fucking 50 years or something. I'm sure fucking Carl Gotch versus um I don't know, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers probably fucking put butts in seats, but you know, could we be on the verge of a new kind of like wrestling boom, or, and this is what I think personally, but I'll go into it a little in further detail in a bit. I think the wrestling industry is on its way out, personally. But obviously, what do you think about that, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I think in modern era, I think people like sports that have a more of a social media presence, which we've actually seen in recent years because, like, for example, like boxing, that's become a more of a it's more of a well-liked sport now. Obviously, boxing's always been huge, but now we've got all like the YouTube fights and all the TikTok fights, and
Yeah,
because
yeah. Well,
social
like
media more
boxing has sort of broken its way into the younger generation's like mind, because obviously
exactly, yeah,
when you used to think of boxing, normally you'd think of it as like something your dad would watch rather than something that you would watch. But now, with stuff like the TikTok versus YouTuber boxing stuff, and obviously we've spoken about Logan versus KSI before, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what's getting the young people interested in the sport. But yeah,
yeah.
continue, sorry. Yeah.
But obviously, WWE they sort of shifted into social media as we talked in all the way back in episode 1 with the Zack Ryder Internet Championship and all that. They've sort of run their course with social media, and they don't really tap into it too much. I mean, I've seen them on TikTok. They what they did do, they did an amazing thing for a fan with I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a fan on TikTok of wrestling who has Down syndrome, and his videos are very entertaining. And WWE actually, I think he hosted the Slammies that kid did.
Oh
Don't know if
wow.
he's a kid, but I think he is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think one thing you can't
Uh,
really take away from WWE is that they're very good at PR on like that kind of a front, aren't they? They're really good at
they're very
working with
good at the
like Make a
charity,
Wish and yeah, yeah,
but so they've sort of tapped into TikTok, but I don't think in terms of Twitter or definitely not Instagram. Not seen anything about WWE on Instagram. Uh, they just sort of lack, and I think that because they're not participating in social media as much as maybe other companies that you see. Um, I'm talking about strictly WWE here, but I don't see any wrestling stuff on like social media really, unless you talk about Twitter, which is not very good. But like you see other sports, like it's not even that the company has to talk about it; it's just like people have to talk about it on social media.
yeah,
And
yeah. No, I'm with you there. Like, because
if you think about
obviously,
like the Euros currently,
oh yeah,
that
well,
is
like I think
huge on social media.
it's sort of hard to compare football and WWE, isn't it though? Because football is the
Absolutely,
world's
yeah.
biggest sport and wrestling is quite niche, I suppose. But I get the point you're making. Because obviously, like it sounds really sad to say, but we we do use social media quite a lot, and you would think that we would find
We live in a
something.
society.
Well, you'd think we would find like WWE on like our Instagram explore page or something, and like I have once, because obviously there was that for a bit of context, we found an Indian WWE meme account who was having beef with another one. But like That's it. Like that's all I've really got on like my my Instagram Explore page, because there's very few people who are currently talking about WWE, because I think the company aren't doing enough to give you a reason to talk about them, I guess.
Yeah,
Like on
I mean,
Twitter, I can understand on Twitter people talk about it because they can just give like a quick reaction to what's happening on the pay-per-view or what's happening on Raw or SmackDown or something. But then like on Instagram, what are you gonna it's a lot harder to make content for Instagram than it would be for Twitter, because for Twitter you could just tweet, "Oh, that Braun Strowman guy's proper shit, isn't he?" And then like that's it. But for Instagram, you've got to make like a picture and all this shit, and you know,
uh, yeah, I mean, but Twitter is not used at all in modern society, I would say.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
at least
I'll
with
agree
young
with you partially.
people.
Yeah, I think Twitter as a platform has definitely fallen off.
I don't know how much I can really say about this, but as you may know, I did well with my college. We worked with a outside company, and we had to sign a contract for that.
Yeah,
And
so signing an what's it called? NEA. No,
yeah,
NDA. Sorry, no disclosure agreement. Yeah, so you can't
and
disclose.
and
Joe can't
on that
disclose
we had
any
to
specific topics.
and we had to put our Twitter account in that just to see
Yeah, so they'll
like if we
monitor
leaked
your
anything.
account and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure
so
you're not tweeting about it.
and what a lot of people in my class said was, well, we don't actually have a Twitter. I think, God, only about 10% of us, if that, had a Twitter account, and yeah,
Yeah, well, I think that speaks
it was just
to
like
how
they
it's
were just saying
changing,
if
though, isn't it?
if like they put that on an Instagram or something, like people would
Oh yeah,
one
well,
hundred
well,
percent
like
put that down.
if you look at the percentages of it, there's much more likelihood that they will have like TikTok and Instagram accounts than there is that they would have Twitter accounts, because
Absolutely. I mean, Twitter's
like
just dying, but that's the platform they're using the most.
yes, yeah, well, like I
And
think if you
beat the
think
rest
about
of
it, really,
children.
Twitter is a platform primarily used by adults. Like you don't find many children on Twitter.
That's
And
true, yeah.
obviously, not to say your classmates are like children, because they're not, but they're in college. They're still like 17, 18, so they're not really adults, but they're not really children either. But they're much more likely to be using the more younger oriented social medias, like your TikTok, like your Instagram. Um, Nearly said Facebook then, but Facebook is quite the opposite. Um,
They
you
just
know,
use Discord, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and
like they're
Instagram.
much more
That's
likely
like
to be
the
using Instagram, TikTok, and Discord, aren't they? So
yeah. Get a WWE Discord, or maybe there already is. One, I
I
don't
was
know.
um, I just think a new market, because most of the older market that are watching the product are leaving because the content. So if you're trying to get a younger audience, why are you focusing so heavily on Twitter? Yeah, sorry about that, folks. So yeah, what was I saying? Sorry. Um, WWE have only really now started getting into the social medias that they really should be marketing towards, like TikTok. Instagram, they've been on for a while, but even now they still don't really use it that well. Like, they put on like their story, um, what's on the card for Hell in a Cell, and they'll put like little clips of Raw and stuff on it. But like, if I saw these stories, which sometimes I do when I'm using um when I'm using Instagram, occasionally they'll pop up. I won't be like, oh yeah, seeing this 5-second clip of Carmella talking in the ring, that's really getting me fucking interested, that is. Yeah, like...
You're not really interested by Carmella, you are.
Funny.
Hey.
Um,
Proud of
it's like, well, what, you know, this isn't interesting. This isn't gonna make me want to watch.
that. Is he being blunt here? It's not entertaining.
Honestly, it's just like, you know, you gotta read the room, WWE. You're trying to get new fans on board, and you're showing them this shit. Get out of it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's this WWE are just a bit shit. Put it simply.
Yeah. Well, it's like, you know, the point the point of the question is the entire industry dying? And it's like, we focus on WWE mainly because that's what we know the best, right? But even
Yeah.
AEW aren't using their social media well. Like, I remember I went on their YouTube channel, and it's like, it all they have is just like small clips from their main show, and then they just have like full episodes of their second show, what's it called, AEW Dark. So like, all they really use their YouTube channel for is like highlight clips, and then they just dump an entire episode of AEW Dark in like a big 2 hour block. And it's like, this, you know, this isn't especially interesting. You know, I can't be bothered to sit through 2 hours of this. If you separated it into like individual matches, for example, rather than just putting it out all in one big block, you know, maybe people would pay more attention to it, because outside of actual wrestling fans, you know, here in the UK, because there's not really a proper AEW TV deal. Like AEW, I think you can get it on like ITV Hub, but only like a replay of the first. You can get like replays of the episodes, but you can't get them live in the UK. So,
ITV or
yep, they have a. It's not on ITV. It's just on ITV Hub. They just upload the video onto ITV Hub. They don't. Maybe they do have a live TV deal, and I've not realised this. But ever since the start, all I've seen is like, because I went on ITV Hub the other day to watch the Euros, because one of the matches was on ITV, right? And it showed up, and I was like, holy fuck, they're still doing this. Because I remember that's what they did when it first came out, and it's like, if you're trying to get international fans, right? For example, in the UK, that aren't already wrestling fans, why would you not just get an actual TV deal? Why would you put it
yeah.
just like on ITV Hub, where there's very, very little marketing for it? I remember they did a bit of marketing for it at the start, because I remember I was watching like ITV2 or something, and I saw an advert for it saying first episode streaming on ITV Hub now, and that's how I found out about it. But you know, if you're trying to get new fans, putting it on ITV Hub with no marketing, so it's not going on a television channel, that's not going to help you in the fucking slightest, is it? You're trying to save the industry and all of the major UK channels fucking streaming services. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't have
Like,
just...
who watches an ITV streaming service?
No, exactly. I only use ITV Hub to watch rugby and the Euros, because I'm not
I Love
using it.
Island, don't mind.
I don't. I haven't even watched. Genuinely, right? I haven't watched a single episode of Love Island, and I don't plan to.
Who has? I'm not. Well, I know a few people who have, but
Yeah. Well, of course, I know people who have, but
I don't see the appeal.
well, it's just like some poncy blokes and women just fucking going
Don't
around like,
don't
oh,
believe
look
in
at
the
me.
lie, Joe. Don't
Well,
believe
it's
in the
like
lie.
it's like people who are like, oh, look at me,
Yeah.
I've got big fat fucking tits. Oh, look at me, I've got massive fucking muscles. Like it's just like, if you've seen Geordie Shore, if you've seen Geordie Shore, you've seen Love Island, but Love Island's like even worse. Geordie Shore at least was like sometimes funny because you get Scotty T calling himself like a fucking minge magnet and stuff.
My sister used to put on Geordie Shore every Sunday morning. I used to have to sit there and watch it.
Oh,
Fucking
mate, Geordie
Scotty
Shore was
T,
good,
man.
you know. Geordie Shore was good. Scotty T's a fucking weapon. I actually
Yeah.
like Scotty T. Have you seen there's a clip of it where it's like they're throwing a party and the theme is like what you wanted to be when you grew up, and Scotty T goes, I already am what I wanted to be when I grew up. I want to be a fucking minge magnet. Oh,
Oh,
I love him.
I'm
What a
trying to think
guy.
of a fucking quote that I like, but I'm thinking of too many that I fucking love.
There's so many. Geordie Shore. People slate Geordie Shore for being like trash television. Of course, it's trash television, but that's why it's
It's trash,
fun.
but it's good. Like it's not meant to
It's
be things. It's not fucking Downton Abbey. Like
no, no,
it's
exactly.
just meant to be
It's not
fun.
like you're watching Breaking Bad, are you? You're watching
No,
a bunch of drunk Geordie people having parties and then shouting at each other. Like, and then you watch Scotty T call himself a minge magnet. Like,
oh,
you
this
know,
it's
that's what you're
still
signing
going.
up for. Geordie Shore, I don't think it is actually. I
Oh,
think if
what a
it
shame.
is, most of like the main people off of it aren't on it anymore because I know the Charlotte girl. What's the Charlotte girl's name? Charlotte
Oh,
Crosby,
she does
maybe.
workout videos now.
Yeah, Charlotte Crosby does all
She
sorts
fucking
of stuff now.
gains like loads of weight and then fucking
Yeah,
gets rid of it. Comes
she
out
put
with a
on a load
fucking
of weight, then
workout
she lost
DVD.
a load of weight, and now she does like a tattoo show for Channel 4. Like,
Oh, God,
you know,
Channel 4.
there's loads of these reality show stars go on to do stuff like that. Like, pretty much, if you're a reality star, chances are Channel 4 are going to offer you a contract to work on one of their shows at some point.
Oh, who's that fella on every fucking reality show now? He's got the blonde hair. Oh, he's on
You could be describing literally anybody.
every single fucking game show he's on. Oh, he'll be
Rob
on I'm a
Beckett?
Celeb this year. No,
No,
not
it's
Rob
not Rob
Beckett.
Beckett. Is it the bloke from Made in Chelsea?
Yeah, yeah.
I know
Oh,
who
what's
you're
his
on about.
name?
I know Jamie
He's
something.
on every fucking show, and yeah, just Jamie Ian, Jamie Jamie
Something
Lannister.
like I I don't think it's Jamie Lannister. But
Imagine.
yeah, so you like back to the wrestling for now. Um, yeah, I think talking about this, I think the main reason wrestling, especially in the UK, it feels like it's dying is just because there's no real reason to want to watch it anymore. It's not
Yeah,
must see television because the one thing I hear from wrestling fans all the time is, oh, Raw and SmackDown are fucking shite. AEW's the only good one, right? But the thing is,
God.
listen, right? I watched the first episode of AEW and I thought it was crap. I got
Yeah.
slated for that by some wrestling fans for saying I didn't like it. If you're now gonna fucking
Give me
have a
that
go
name.
at me, if you're gonna have a go at me because I didn't like the first episode, I didn't like the pilot episode of a new wrestling show, and so I'm like, not for me, don't really want to watch any of it. If you're gonna have a go at me for that, I think that says all I need to know, says all I really need to about that show and its fandom. Like, if
Yeah.
I don't like one episode and I get fucking booed out of the building by a bunch of the AEW bum boys, like,
AEW Bum Boys. Wow.
yeah, but
To be
it's
fair, a lot
like
of AEW fans are like,
a lot of
they're
them on
like,
Twitter. A lot of them on Twitter are all they
uh,
seem to do is spend their time being critical of WWE and fucking licking Cody Rhodes' asshole. Like, I don't get it.
it's
How
because
can you fucking
AEW
Cody
has
Rhodes?
a
Cody
few.
Rhodes comes out and he pretends to be Triple H with a massive fucking
Suit.
stupid looking neck tattoo that looks like it's a tramp stamp. It should be a tramp stamp. And like, he comes out. He pretty much just pretends to be Triple H all the time. He wins pretty much all the feuds he's involved in. And they're like, oh, it's so much better than WWE. Cody is literally just Triple H too. The bloke books his own matches and puts himself over all the fucking time from what I've seen. And he pretends like he's actually Triple H. Like, I remember, I think it was one of his first like pay-per-view matches for AEW. No, right? He comes out on like a throne for his entrance. He comes out on a throne, right? And do you know what he does after that? He gets a sledgehammer and he smashes the throne.
Great. Spits out a water bottle.
Honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't come out with like a wig on and like a prosthetic nose and fuck it. He comes out in like he comes out, yeah. He comes out like a giant tricycle with a biker jacket on.
Fucking Pee Wee Herman.
Oh my god.
It comes out fucking tricycle. Oh god.
Fuck.
I would love to see that.
But yeah, I think, you know, the industry does feel like it's dying, especially here. Maybe less so in the US, where they've got like I believe some like live events for like indie shows have started back up in the US. So fair enough for them. But here in the UK, I think I'd be lying if I said the industry doesn't feel like it's on its deathbed. I mean, it has for a long time now, but yeah, it's ropes.
But no. Anyway,
Yeah,
I feel like we've definitely
we spent quite a while talking about
rambled.
that. Yes,
Well, we
yeah,
went on
we ended
Scotty
up
at
talking
one
about
point,
Scotty
so
T. So
it's me, Scotty T. I'm on the What podcast?
you're
Oh my
right,
god, we
man.
should get him on as a
You're
guest.
right, man. I'm on the
We'll add,
fucking what podcast, like.
we'll add him
I'm
on
done,
to the
Raj.
guest.
Scotty T will be like,
Scotty
oh,
T, Grim's
fucking
Toy
love,
Show.
Ryback, man.
Yeah, Ryback. We need to get them all on. Grim's Toy Show, Ryback, and Scotty T.
What a combo that would be, Jesus Christ.
They're
But
all the
yeah,
same person. They're all just big meatheads.
yeah, just like in
They
different
are
ways
just the
though.
same person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
miraculous. So we'll move on to our next topic. What is the worst current WWE theme song? And I say current because I don't want to give you the cop out of just saying Brie Bella. Well, Brie Bella's technically retired at the minute, so you can't just say Brie Bella.
I was gonna say sing it, but you, you already did it before I could ask. Oh, great.
Yeah, well, did an accurate rendition, me.
I mean, there aren't a lot of theme songs. You list off your list, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll catch you out on one that I don't like because I don't really watch
Yeah,
modern day
right,
stuff.
okay.
What I do watch is the matches, not the entrance, really. So.
Right, so Big E's new entrance theme. I think that was crap.
I do what? What's it go like?
Yeah, well, since he left the New Day, he got a new one. Because I remember at WrestleMania he came out to it, and I thought this is shit. Apollo Crews' new one is shit as well. If you remember,
well,
it's
Apollo Crews is
that
shit.
one was fucking awful. Ricochet's. I legitimately I don't like his theme song that much. It's not just because I don't like Ricochet. I actually don't like his theme song that much.
What's it go like?
I can't do a good rendition of it.
I'm not surprised. Like it's just fucking blaring.
It's just some like generic like superhero sounding kind of music. Like
yeah.
There's no other way to describe it. It's just the most generic shit. Fits the character perfectly.
Oh, you did that, and I just thought of Yoshitatsu. What a theme song that was.
Hey, Yoshitatsu's
Oh, that was nothing like it.
Who
Yeah.
else has a crap theme song? Ooh, I think Liv Morgan from memory's got a pretty bad one. I don't like Mandy Rose's theme either.
Well, I think all like women wrestlers. They just have shit
Wow.
theme tunes.
Sexist much.
Except Natalia, but that's not
Rhea
really her.
Ripley's got a crap one. What's Rhea Ripley's? It's just like some fucking screamo woman going like, "No one will survive," a couple of times. And it's like, what do you mean? It's Rhea Ripley's just some like tall emo Australian woman. Like, she's not a fucking murderer, is she? Of course they'll survive. Bloody hell. But who else has a crap theme song? Bianca Belair's is okay. I think Bailey's got a new one. I mean, Bailey's original one was crap as well. So Bailey's got a new one that's bad. I think Carmella might have a new one as well. I didn't like Carmella's original one.
You said wild Joe for saying all women wrestlers have crap music.
Well, I'm not
I
saying
think you
all
are
of the women. I'm
listing them all.
not saying all of the women have bad theme songs. I think Charlotte Flair's theme song is good.
Yeah, Natalia and Charlotte,
Yeah.
but they're not really
I
theirs,
like
are they?
I like Natalia's. I like Charlotte's. I think Bianca Belair's is okay. Sasha Banks. I like Sasha Banks.
Oh, Sasha's Banks is brilliant.
Yeah, that's a good theme.
Really good.
Becky. I like Becky's
Had a
theme.
dream, I hadn't made it.
Oh no, Sasha's got a new one. Sasha's got
She got a
an
new
evil.
one.
Yeah, she's got an evil one because she's evil. She got
Wow.
a heel one. I think that the new one actually has Snoop Dogg on it though, because if you remember,
Oh,
Snoop Dogg
God,
wrote her original theme and performed it at WrestleMania 32, but her new one is actually performed
remember the
normally
singer they
by
got for
Snoop
WrestleMania
Dogg.
32? Wasn't she so bad?
Yeah, they got some random woman, and then they got like actually Snoop Dogg. Like
Well,
it
he
was
was in the
so
Hall of Fame
jarring.
that year, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's true. Big WWE Hall of Famer Snoop Dogg. But who else has shite theme
I was going
song?
to do a Snoop
I think
Dogg impression there, but I thought,
Otis
like,
has got a new theme. I believe Otis has got a new theme since he's turned heel as well. I'm sure that's probably just the most generic shite theme ever.
It's other theme, the heavy machinery theme was shit anyway. It's like,
Yeah, no, that was crap.
like,
It's literally just the noise of metal clanging.
That's what it's like.
Literally the noise of metal clanging. Like, who cares? Get to fuck,
We get
mate.
it.
No, it's like
Heavy machinery. We get it.
what are they called? The Right to Censor. Their old theme song was literally just an alarm going off, just like wee woo, wee woo, wee woo.
It's not like Cesaro's theme where it's like an alarm and it's like actually good.
Oh yeah, Cesaro's. I don't like Cesaro's new one either.
Oh, has he got a new one? I was like, oh, why is everyone getting a new one?
Well, because I believe what they're doing is they're getting rid of a load of the CFO $ ones because they don't work with them anymore. Because they just do them in house now. They don't get CFO dollar signs.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
CFO.
they're getting rid of. Well, I remember they're getting rid of loads of the. Well, they've tried to.
Nakamura's got a new one.
Nakamura's just gone back to his old one. So
That was CFO
mean,
double.
it was, yes. Which I'm surprised
Okay.
they actually went back to that one. But
his
original one's a tune.
My impressions are these.
Yes. Yeah.
Top notch.
So accurate. Like we're actually going to get copyright striked.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Jack. They're not on my channel. They're on yours. So,
to be fair, I've actually had a copyright strike on one of these podcasts. You might remember. We used to have. This is obviously the audience. If you've watched some of our earlier episodes, and by early I mean like the first like 5 or so. We did used to have David Flair's entrance theme as the intro to the podcast because I thought it summed up the show perfectly because it was awful, like the show.
Hey.
After the second time I used it, because the first episode I used the song, we didn't get copyright striked. So I thought, oh, well, it must be free domain, right? No, apparently it isn't. Because the next episode got completely copyright striked for the first 10 seconds of the podcast having it as the intro song. So that's why we dropped that, and then we started what did I start using? I started using Craddy. I believe the song is called Android Porn, which is a bit of a strange name, but it's
I didn't even know
if
that. What?
you didn't know. Well, you might
I didn't
remember.
know the name of the song.
Well, yeah, you might not have
I'm
known the name of the song. You know the song though, because obviously,
Yeah. I've listened to some of them back. Some
yes.
of them.
Well,
I
you know
can't stand it.
that song is like an absolute classic from early YouTube. That song is actually copyright free because I got it from No Copyright Sounds, which is like the best place to get these kind of things from.
You
So I
know what
got
we
it
need? We
from
need
No Copyright Sounds, so it
Joebot
is no
Go-To
copyright.
music.
I honestly,
Wah, 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 wah,
I've
wah,
been
wah,
trying to
wah.
find it. I've been trying to find it, but I couldn't find it
Oh,
anywhere.
I found it ages ago. I'll send it to you.
Right. Okay.
I-
We'll,
I'll
we'll
send me a
introduce
message after
that.
you're done.
We'll introduce that as the
Wah, 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 wah.
the new intro song. But yeah, the reason I stopped using
Well, like
Craddy,
Skype.
it wasn't for like any copyright problems. It was literally just because I changed what I used to edit, and to be completely honest with you, I couldn't be bothered putting the clip and like the fade that I had like preset and all that back into my editing software. So
Everyone boos in chat.
oh
This
well.
laziness will not stand.
Well, you know, I might put it back in. I mean, like,
Do you know the amount of work I put into this podcast? I turn up. Like,
yeah,
why
you
can't you
show
match
up,
that?
you know. So
That
yeah,
that's
worst
amazing
current
work,
WWE
really.
theme song. Might just cop out and just say the old
I
heavy
completely
machine,
forgot that blue.
Otis.
Um,
Yeah, I think we'll
I'll
just say
say
Otis.
Gilbert.
Gilbert. Okay.
Did I tell you I saw him on Cameo? I don't know if we did it on the
Yes. Yeah.
podcast.
No, you did, didn't you? It's like an
Yeah,
actually reasonable price. Well, that's reasonable for cameo standards, anyway.
we're not paying it, but
Oh, God no! I wouldn't pay for a cameo if I was going to die. Because
I
I'd
mean,
rather give money
I
to
mean,
people in my
I
inheritance.
got a Cameo and I sent it to you.
No, we're not putting your fucking
We
cameo
are
in the.
hashtag
No,
release the Cameo cut everyone.
we got the.
Everyone wants to see Matthew Perry.
I'm just gonna put I'm just gonna put the clip of Brian Alvarez in instead. Because that is the new outro for the podcast. That clip of
No,
Brian Alvarez.
it's Matthew Perry Cameo that I paid for.
You paid for it, did you?
I did, yeah. So it's a
Oh,
real one. I didn't tell
yeah.
you this.
Okay. Right.
I guess I might as well explain it because I never released it.
No,
But
I'm not putting it in the fucking podcast. Jesus.
it's it's basically just a clip of me going, "Hey, it's me, Matthew Perry," and it's brilliant.
It's just
It's
him
such a
doing
good
a Peter
impression.
Griffin impression, pretending to be Matthew Perry.
I think once we've explained it,
Hey
people will
Lois, it's me,
will
Matthew
be able
Perry. Freaking sweet.
French. That is the entire clip.
Yeah, see, you can tell why I haven't put it in.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant, guys.
Gotta
We
keep the
need to
show.
bully him into
We've got to
releasing it.
keep the show incredibly professional, as we already do.
Oh, exactly. On to our next topic.
Yes. So
Yeah.
so we'll move on to our next topic, which is actually the introduction of a new segment.
Yes,
Which
you're doing the games this week.
yes,
So,
well, yes.
yeah, pretty
So
much.
this is an idea I came up with the other day at about God, what time did I come up with? About
It was like
half.
midnight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like midnight, right?
I
That's when I'm
saw
at
it
my
in the morning. I
that's
was
when I'm
just
at
like,
my
oh, what the
productive peak. That's when I'm at my productive peak. Is very late at night.
Yeah.
And it's called. I've named it Top or Flop. And the idea, right, is I give Joe names of songs, and he has to guess whether it hit number one in the UK charts or not. And if he says no, he has to give like a rough estimate as to where it peaked in the charts. and he'll get bonus points if he can list the artist and the year that it came out. So, as an example, if I said "Enjoy the Silence," then he would say whether it topped the UK chart. So it's the UK charts, not like the Billboard 100 or whatever. So if it topped the UK charts, so I say "Enjoy the Silence," he might say no. It only got to third, for example, and then for the bonus points, he would say Depeche Mode were the people who made it, and it was released in 1990. Well, he would get the bonus points, but he would get the question wrong because it actually only reached sixth. So, he'd get his 2 bonus points, but he wouldn't get the big third point, which is, the actual question.
I know that everyone watching is completely bored. Let's get on with it.
Yeah, so we'll just I've explained the rules here. So
I'm so confused when listening to that. But you're, if you're like me, you don't understand. You'll see
so
it. Go
pretty much, right?
I mean,
all
I
I'm gonna
understand
do is I'm gonna say the name of a song, and then he has to say whether it did top or if it flopped. And if it flopped, he says where he thinks it got to in the charts. And then after that, he just says who sung it and what year it came out. Like that.
Yeah.
That's all he has to say. So
we all get it. So. Wow.
Our first round, I've got 3 fairly easy songs to start us out. So we'll do 3 easy ones, then we'll move into some slightly harder ones, then some hard ones, and then last we've got the very hard one, which we get double points for. You get double points for the last question if you get all of it right. It's a make it or break. You know what? Question 10, we'll call it the double or nothing question, because if you get all of them correct, you'll get double points. But if you get if you get even one of them wrong, you get no points for it. Look at that. Thought of that on the spot, I have. So, our first song. Question 1. Number 1.
The suspense is killing me. Oh.
No, that's the question. No, that's the name of the song, Joe.
Number 1.
The song is called Number 1.
Oh, you could be my number 1. Is that no?
That is I can't tell you. I will say, if you want me to give you a hint, you can sacrifice a bonus point, and I'll give you one of either the artist / artists or the year it came out. But you sacrifice that potential bonus point.
Okay. Yeah, well, give me the artist then, please.
Okay, the artist is Tinchy Strider featuring N-Dubs.
Oh, I don't fucking know it. No, it didn't reach number 1. That's my guess.
Do you have any guess for a year, perhaps?
Oh God, 2011.
The correct answer was yes, it did hit number 1. Tinchy Strider featuring N-Dubs. Number 1. You don't know. If I played it to you, you would get it. I'll tell you that for free. It's it goes like number 1. Number. It's an old one.
I've never heard of it.
You've never heard Number 1 by Tinchy Strider featuring N-Dubs. Oh my god.
No, I've not heard of. Oh, this is easy, is it?
It hit number 1, which is why I called. I put it question 1 because it's called Number 1, and it hit number 1.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, it all makes sense, right? And yes, it hit number 1 in the UK. Top of the pops for 3 weeks, I want to say. Top of the charts for 3 weeks. Okay, well, this is going much worse than I expected, because I thought, to be honest, you probably would have heard this song. But we'll move on to maybe the next round will actually be easier for you. Who knows? But we'll move on to the next round. Next question rather. Question 3. Yeah, so you're on 0 of 6 points so far. This is going swimmingly.
Oh,
Um,
please. Oh.
question 3. Your song title is Boom Boom Pow.
Oh, no, didn't reach number one. And it was by the Black Eyed Peas, and it was released in 2006.
Well, you get 1 point there. Boom Boom Pow, released in 2009 by the Black
Ah,
Eyed Peas. So
I
you got
started listening
you
to
got the
that like
artist,
when I was
and it did
younger.
hit number one. So all of the
Why not?
first round,
Well,
all of the first round did hit number one.
I thought you would have done that. Like, one that didn't hit number one. That was
I
where I
do
was
have
coming
one.
from.
I do have ones that didn't hit number one in the list. I just thought I would
Yeah, that's what I thought. There, that's
give you
what I
some
thought.
tricky ones to start
With it
with.
being in rounds,
There's a
throw me
little.
off my game.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got 1 point of a potential 9 so far. This is
That's the
going.
only fucking song I've heard of.
I can't believe you've never heard "Message in a Bottle" or number one. Anyway, we'll move on to question 4. Slightly harder, or it could be easier. Who knows?
Can I just say actually, just a disclaimer before I get hated on in the comments. My music taste is
Horrendous.
Tenacious D, like Ninja Sex Party, and like it. Yeah, that's my music taste. All right, so don't fucking
You're
bully me.
making it even worse because like most of these are like fairly popular songs.
I don't listen. Well,
You don't
well,
listen to
this is
popular
a joke.
music, do you, Joe?
I don't listen to
Wow.
popular music. Everyone knows this though. Like all I listen to, well, Tenacious D
All
is
you listen
fairly
to is the
popular.
fucking Hamilton soundtrack.
I don't listen to Hamilton.
Yeah, good.
That's
Better
not my
not.
favorite musical.
If I catch you listening to Hamilton, I'm gonna break your fucking kneecap.
His name is Alexander Hamilton.
Shut up. Question
I've not
4.
seen Hamilton yet. I
Your
should check that.
song title is Lonely.
Oh, I think I've heard of it. Um, can I have the artist?
The artist is Akon.
No, I've not heard of it. I've heard of Akon. I'm gonna say it didn't reach number one. And it released in 2008.
0 points. Once again, you have 1 of
What? How?
12.
Who's heard of these shitty songs?
Lonely by Akon, one of the biggest hits of the mid 2000s, you know. Lonely, I'm Mr.
That's the
Lonely.
song. I don't think that'll be
That's the
Akon.
song. That's Akon.
All I know Akon from is I Just Have Sex. God's
Yeah, well,
sake.
he sang Lonely, which is one of, if, you know, it's one of the biggest hits of the 2000s, Joe. And
I wouldn't
yes,
say it's a hit. I mean,
it did reach number
it's a
one.
well-known song, but it's not
It
good.
did reach number one, and it was released in the year 2005.
This list is bullshit.
No, you're just bad at music knowledge, mate. You got
I'm
no
I'm
knowledge.
fact checking this shit.
You can, mate. I fact checked all of this last night. I know I'm right on all this.
Come on, who's heard of these songs that have reached number one though? Honestly,
But
who?
a lot of people, because they've reached number one, they must have heard of it. You know,
So did the
I
fucking
know.
Bob the Builder theme. No
I know.
one's listening to this shit.
Well, Bob the Builder did reach number one in the UK. The Bob the Builder theme did reach number one.
Ah,
You know, fucking the Teletubbies theme song reached number one in the UK in 1997. Like,
oh,
you know,
I'm just triggered now.
hey, my song, mate. You're the one who did GCSE music as well. Bloody hell.
Doesn't mean I was good at it. The only thing I was good
Yeah,
at was
that's
the
true.
performance,
But good is a strong
which
word.
is surprising enough. Which I
Yeah.
mean,
So we'll move on to
oh,
question number 5. If you don't get this, or at least you don't get like the artist,
it's gonna be like
I will
Bohemian
be
Rhapsody.
I'll be incredibly disappointed in you because this I feel like this song is right up your street.
Okay,
Question number 5. Your song title is Faith.
No, is it? Oh no, it's not R. Kelly, is it?
It is not R. Kelly.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
You're
I'm
in the wrong
sorry.
time period.
I'm so sorry, chat. Um, can I have the artist again?
The artist is George Michael.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, I think I heard of it. No, it didn't reach number one. No, yeah, it did. It did. It did.
Are you sure you're going with that?
Yeah. And it released in 1985.
Joe remains on 1 point of
What for?
15. 1 point of 15.
For fuck what? How did it not reach number? How did Lonely reach number one? And not Faith?
Faith only got to number 2 in the UK.
Oh,
It did,
I love
however,
George Michael.
it did,
Fucking
however,
homophobic, man.
top the US Billboard number. It did top the Billboard Hot 100, but not
I'm
the
sorry.
UK charts. So it
This is
hit number 1 in the
bullshit.
US, but not the UK.
And
It
what year
peaked
was it released?
1987, so you were 2 years off. So actually,
Oh,
if you'd have said no, it didn't reach number 1, you would have been correct. You would have actually got some points.
I thought it was a
That's
song I never heard of. Then it popped
that's
in my
the
mind. It's
one.
like,
That's the
gotta
one
have
I
Faith
thought
Faith.
you would have. That's the one I thought you would have clocked onto immediately.
I like
'Cause
George Michael as well.
I know you like George
Oh,
Michael. That's why I fucking said.
fuck's
Ah,
sake. Alright, give me the
right.
next one.
Question number 6. Your song
Oh,
title. This is quite easy. I've probably put this in the wrong group here, but question
don't
number
say it's
6.
easy.
Your song title is Barbie Girl.
Oh, yeah, hit number one, 2005.
And the artist?
Is Aqua something in it? Aqua Girl, Aqua Boy? No, Shark Boy? No, I don't know the artist.
Because I'm feeling generous, I'm going to give you 2 of the 3 points
Aquabats.
there.
Is it Aquabats?
I'm gonna give you 2 of the 3 points there. Because
Okay.
yes, it did reach number 1. The artist was just Aqua.
Oh, okay.
So I'll give you that. But it was released in 1997, not
Wow.
2005.
Holy shit.
Mm. So you know what? I'll give you 2 of your 3 points there. So you've got
Okay.
3 of a
He's
potential
fair.
18 points. You've got 3 of a potential 18 points.
I'll
Now,
take it.
this is the hard part,
Oh, it's
and
all fucking been hard.
I'll be shocked if you get any more than 1 point out of this round.
Oh, great. It's gonna be like fucking Stormzy or some shit, isn't it? Right,
Question.
just go.
It's not Stormzy. I'll tell you that for free. Question number 7. Your song title is Whole Again.
Oh, just fucking. No, it didn't. 1989. Uh, Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know.
It's it's not going to be Jeffrey Dahmer, is it? Because he's a serial killer.
You never know. He might have wrote this tune in prison.
Well, no, and you get 0 of your points there. It was Whole Again by Atomic Kitten, released in the year 2000, and yes, it did reach number 1. It actually stayed at number 1 for a shockingly long time, considering it's not actually a very good song.
Great.
But yeah, this is the hard one. I didn't really expect you to know Atomic Kitten, if I'm being honest. I barely know Atomic Kitten. Whole Again is the only Atomic Kitten
I
song
think
I've
I've
heard.
heard of him.
I'm sure you probably have heard of Atomic. But question number 8, your song title is Man in the Mirror.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I know it's Michael Jackson. Uh, unless it's a a trick, and it's another man in the mirror. But I'm gonna say Michael Jackson. Um, I'm gonna say it didn't reach number one, and it came out in 1980. Or would 80 be too early? 1991.
Well, you've actually exceeded
Oh,
my expectations first round because you've got 2 points on the board there, Joe.
way!
You were correct in saying that Man in the Mirror did not reach number one. Initially, in its first release, it only hit 21st in the UK charts.
Wow.
However, after Michael Jackson's death in 2009, I think it was, it actually, because obviously a lot of his songs, came back in the charts, Man in the Mirror actually hit number two back in 2008
Wow.
after the re-release. But unfortunately, obviously, yes, you got Michael Jackson right. One of the easiest ones to recognise there. But you got the year wrong. Man in the Mirror was released in 1988.
Oh, okay. So I was very close. Very, very close.
Yeah, that's probably the one you've done the best on, and it's in the hard section. So, because the reason I put it in the hard section is because I thought I'd be able to trick you up on the did it hit number one or not?
Yeah.
Because obviously Michael Jackson had a lot of number ones, and Man in the Mirror is one of his biggest songs. So
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's not the
it's not
classic
his
MJ
biggest.
style.
Yeah, it's not his biggest, and it's not like his normal style. So because obviously
I thought like
it's not
how you
like
gonna
it's
react
not
is
like Bad,
negative.
Beat It, Thriller. You know, should have thrown in some Jackson 5 stuff actually. Jackson 5's got some great stuff.
It does.
Question 9. The reason this is in the hard is because I feel like you won't get the specifics of it. Question
Okay.
9. Party rock anthem.
Oh, fuck you. It did hit number one. Um, it's by LMFAO, or is it AO? I think it's FAO. Um, and it was released in 2008.
Oh, so close, Joe. You got 2 of a potential 3 there. Uh,
Oh,
it did hit number one. It was number one for a disgracefully long time. I think it was there for like 4 or 5 weeks, which is just disgusting. Looking back on it. Yes, it was LMFAO. However,
okay.
your timing is slightly off. It was released in 2011.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember this because I had the album for it, and I still do, somewhere in my house. Oh, I'm not kidding. I have because it was released on the Sorry for Party Rocking album, and I own a physical copy of that album somewhere in my house.
Oh, my Lord.
Good
Right.
times. So, your double or
Oh.
nothing question, the final question of Top or Flop, round 1.
So can I win if I get this one right?
You don't win per se.
Okay.
What happens is you'll get a total score. Because what's your total score at the minute? Your total score is 4,
For four?
5, 6. I think your
Well,
total score is
I got
6 at the minute because you got
no, because I
4
got
points.
two. I got one for
You got
thingy.
1
I got
for
two for
Boom Boom
Barbie
Pow.
Girl.
2 for no,
Two
sorry, you're
for
on
Man in the
7
Mirror.
points. Yeah, you're on 7
Yeah,
points then.
yeah. You trying to
You're on
catch me
7
out?
points. So you're on 7 of a potential 33 will be the total score because question 10 is obviously a
Oh
double or
God,
nothing. Question 10 is worth 6 points,
I'm
but
terrible.
you have to get everything correct. Otherwise you get nothing. So there's a lot on the line here. So
Oh, great. So I have to get
to finish
everything
with a
right.
potential of 13 out of 33. Your question, number 10, the song title is Green Light.
Oh, you fucking Right, I'll never get it. Uh,
I will give you one free hint for this one because it is a double or nothing. So you won't lose any points for a hint. But you
okay.
only get the one. So be careful with how you use it.
Can I choose what the hint is?
You can choose, yeah, so you can choose the you can't choose whether it's a yes or no, whether it did top or flop. However, you can choose what year or the artist.
I'm going to say the artist because that'll probably get me closer.
Your artists are, because there are multiple, Pitbull, featuring Flow Rider and Lunch Money Lewis. That might give you a hint as to what the song is.
So you did put a Pitbull song in, great.
I did put a Pitbull song in. Not the one you thought
I'm
it
going to
was.
say 2014, and no, it did not reach number one.
Oh,
I feel like the
Joe
only Lunch Money Lewis song that has reached number one was Bill's.
was Bill's.
Yeah.
Joe. Oh, so close. But so far, unfortunately, you get 0 points for the double or nothing question.
How?
Because
How did that reach number one?
Green Light by Pitbull featuring Flow Rider and Lunch Money Lewis did not reach number one. It didn't even chart in the UK, shockingly enough. It did chart in the
I
US
said it
though.
didn't, did I?
It didn't even chart. No, it didn't even hit the top 100 in the UK.
I said it didn't hit number one, I swear.
No. But it was released in 2016, not
Oh, yeah, 'cause you get
2014.
nothing. Oh, fuck, yeah, sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Well,
So
great.
unfortunately, Joe, you're just a little too early with your year. Well, think of this, right? Green Light by Pitbull featuring Flow Rider and Lunch Money Lewis was the theme song for WrestleMania 37. Sorry, no, not 37, 33. 33 was 2017.
So
So
that
what
is
about
that it
time?
then? That's the entire.
Yeah, that's it. So, your final score for the first round of Top or Flop is
Oh.
7 out of 33. Gee whiz.
This better be easy. Like, fucking put in some Tenacious D song.
Well, none of
Fuck's
them got
sake.
number one though, so you get like a
Well, you never
minimum of
know.
9. You get like a
Trivia could bring
minimum
a
of
bit.
9. You get like a minimum of 9 marks there, with none of them hit number one.
That's so upsetting. Well, I guess we move on then.
Yes, we do. From your
To the
immense
stuff.
failure to
Uh,
the next topic.
so I was gonna make a sus joke earlier in
You're
the thing.
acting real sus.
You said a word. I forgot what it was now, but it ended in sus. I was gonna say ha sus. I completely forgot what the word was now. Uh, yeah, whatever. Right, so welcome to the sus, everyone. I'm your host. Um, and the first topic for today is best game soundtrack. Now, this came to me because I was in college and I listened to a lot of game soundtracks for inspiration, and I just thought, fucking hell, this is good. And I'll start us off with the best game soundtrack, in my opinion, is, as we all know, Persona. No, it was not Persona 5. But no, I'm gonna say the best soundtrack, in my opinion, is Final Fantasy VII. Now that is probably gonna be argued by maybe a lot of people, but I think it fits the game incredibly well. It's by no means like one of the best. Like it has probably some of the worst songs in the Final Fantasy series, but as a whole, fit into the game, I think it's an incredible soundtrack. What do you think, Jack?
Yeah, it's alright. I don't really have a huge amount to say about it. Like the the only like major songs I can remember from the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, the ones that everyone really knows, it's One Winged Angel, like the battle theme.
Yeah.
That's sort of really it.
Bombing Mission, everyone knows that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so what's your favourite video game soundtrack?
To be completely honest with you, I don't really have one. It feels like a cop out to say Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Well,
Because
we
the
won't count that
soundtrack for
because
Smash
that
Bros.
is
The
penultimate
soundtrack for
soundtrack.
the Smash Bros. Ultimate soundtrack is pretty much just like a giant mashup of loads and loads of other games. But if we count Smash Bros. Ultimate, it would be Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's got some of my favourite songs from video games, and like when I used to use like video game songs to put in like the background of like video projects I would used to make, I would always just go through like the Smash soundtrack catalog and just find one that would like fit quite well. I'd just put that in.
Yeah, thank Galleon.
Well, what was it? What I used to use was "Out of Time," the Castlevania song.
Oh yeah.
What's another one? I've got a couple. Because I've got for some reason I've got them downloaded on my phone because I use like a Mac, obviously they save onto iTunes, and so they moved onto my phone. So I've got Out of Time from Castlevania. I've got the Gerudo Valley original version.
Oh, what a song! Sorry.
Just the original version of it though, not the Smash
not
3DS
Smash
and
3DS.
Wii U version. I do like that one. Don't get me wrong, but the Melee version of Gourmet Race, which is the orchestral mix, which actually I prefer to the original quite
Sorry,
a
can we
lot.
just talk about Gerudo Valley for a minute? Oh, what a sexy song that is.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is a very good shout for one of the best game soundtracks.
Oh, it's so
Okay,
good.
right. Another one I've got is KK Cruisin'. KK Cruisin's a banger.
Okay.
But yeah, there's if I couldn't if that counts, I would say Smash Ultimate, because I think it feels a bit cheaty saying it. So I guess I think Super Mario Odyssey's got a very good soundtrack. Breath of the Wild's got a great soundtrack.
Can I just say, any soundtrack composed by Grant Kirkhope is just incredible
Didn't
to
he
me.
do the ukulele soundtrack?
He did do ukulele. He did
Ukulele
games
soundtrack
like
is
Banjo
shit.
Kazooie, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Yeah, but ukulele soundtrack isn't actually very good.
It's alright.
I mean, you would say that. You're a fucking platonic bumboy, mate. I don't know. I never vibed with it. I never liked the ukulele soundtrack. I always it just sounded like a knockoff version of Banjo Kazooie, which is what the game was. The game was just a knockoff Banjo Kazooie, but like they could have tried to make the music sound at least a little bit you know.
Well, it's on. Most of it is performed on a ukulele. How adorable is that?
Don't care. Shite, mate.
I think with more
Fucking
budget, they could have done
shite.
more.
Yeah, but it didn't. They had a fucking big enough budget as it was, and crowdfunding stuff. They had a huge budget,
True.
and the game still came out being a bit crap, if we're being honest.
It's because it was the new studio. Like they obviously just left Rare.
Yeah,
I
I suppose. And obviously
But,
they had the.
I'm not helping my
What
case
was
of
the
being each
sequel?
other.
What was the sequel called? It was called like
The
Impossible Lair.
Impossible Lair.
It never
Yeah.
played it. I think it might be
That was
on
pretty good,
Xbox
actually.
Game Pass. It might either it was on Game Pass or it still is. and I can't remember which one.
Honestly,
I think
give
it
it
used
give
to.
it a try because some of the overworld stuff is pretty
I
good.
might.
It
If I can be
impacts the
bothered to
actual level.
download it, if it is on Game Pass still, then maybe I will. But yeah, back to soundtracks. One thing
It's a short game.
we are sort of just leaving out a little bit. Pokemon. Pokemon games have some
Yeah.
fucking
Oh,
stupendous soundtracks. Gen 4's soundtrack is ingrained into my skull. Genuinely, if I hear the fucking Route 204. I hear the Route 204 music in my head. I immediately fucking busting down. Fucking Sangem Town Night. Oh my god. Honestly, fucking
Gen 3
Auberg
as well.
City. Oh Jesus. Gen 3's got some bangers as well.
Oh, what's the town you start in? Petalburg? No, it's not Petalburg.
Not Petalburg in Gen 3.
No,
I can't remember.
oh, what's the opening town?
But yeah, like Pokemon's got some
I don't know.
absolute. Gen 5's got some bangers as well. Oh, what's that town where it's like
Oh, I know the one you're on about.
yeah, like Gen 5,
Even
all
the
the
new one,
Pokemon
Pokemon
games.
Sword, the Toby
Even,
Fox
right, listen,
one.
I've criticised Pokemon Sword and Shield a lot on this podcast because I don't think it's a very good game. I think
No,
it is an
I think everyone agrees
incredibly
with that.
tedious. I think it's an incredibly tedious experience.
It's a very long game.
It's very long, not in a good way. It's
Uh,
there's a
It's
lot of
long, but
flaws
you
with it.
don't want it to be long. Like other
Yeah,
Pokemon games
there's
are
a lot
short,
of
but you want it to be
flaws.
long.
There's a lot of flaws with it, like the graphics, like the some of the gameplay seems dumbed down, and all this shit, right? But one thing I cannot fault is the soundtrack. Despite the rest of the
Oh,
game
absolutely.
being below standards, the soundtrack is still an absolute banger. Because Pokemon
It's
soundtracks
Toby Fox.
Pokemon soundtracks do not miss. Like, I don't make the
They
rules; they
don't.
just don't miss.
Uh, Speaking of Toby Fox, though, can we talk about Undertale really quickly? Because what a soundtrack
It
that
does
is.
have a good sound. Well, like, listen, right? I first played Undertale in
I can't remember. Are you a big fan of Undertale?
well, right. I've beaten Undertale twice, I think. The
Okay.
first time I played it was 2015. So this would have been
Yeah.
like when it was around like it's kind of like peak of its popularity. I played it back in 2015. How old would I have been then? I would have been 12. 12 going on 13 when I first played it, right? Back then, I didn't really care for the soundtrack that much. There was like the dog song and obviously the Funny Sans music stuff. But for the most part, I didn't really care for the sound. Bone Trussell as well for Pyrus. I didn't really care for the soundtrack that much. But looking back on it, I actually think, despite the fact that people take the piss out of Megalovania and they take the piss out of Bone Trussell and Dog Song and all this, I actually think the soundtrack isn't terrible. It's a good soundtrack. I think
Sorry.
some people blow it out of the water with they blow it out of proportion, saying that it's one of the best soundtracks in gaming in like the last 10 years. I think you're being a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit
not.
overreactive there, but it is a good soundtrack. I would be lying if I said anything other than that. However, like I say, people do have a tendency to overrate it, sort of like they do Undertale and Gen. And I've played through it twice. I can say this. I think it does get overrated. It's a perfectly serviceable game.
It is very overrated, but it is good.
Yeah.
That is
And
good.
I played Deltarune, or at least the first chapter of it, because obviously remember first chapter came out for free on Switch, and I played through the whole of it,
Yeah.
and I thought, yeah, it's all right, and nothing else really, because I have played through Undertale, but for the last couple of years, I couldn't really care less about Undertale. I just sort of stopped caring. But then they put Sans and Smash, and I was like, yo, the funny skeleton man.
Yo,
Sans from Undertale?
I just simultaneously whipped a nene. Right, we got to feature Matt Pat at least once.
I'd rather
We
not.
should get him on as well. Grimm's Toy Show.
We
Right
get Matt
back.
on, I'll fucking curse him out.
Oh, God.
Get
Got
off
it
my
too.
show, bitch!
That'll be the best
Stop
episode ever.
milking FNAF! Stop! Yeah.
Stop!
Stop! Bitch, stop! But yeah, what other games have good soundtrack? I think Halo. Halo's got, like, as a franchise, has, like, good soundtracks. I can't really think of, like, other than obviously the Halo theme, which is a fucking banger.
It
And
is.
what's the Trials? The Trials is another song from Halo that I always think is a fucking tune. Halo has a good soundtrack, like as a franchise, really.
You got to talk about Mario if we talk about franchises. Mario
Yeah, well,
64.
Mario 64 soundtrack is like pretty much exclusively Heat. I do have a hot take for Mario soundtracks, though. I don't think the Sunshine soundtrack is actually that great.
Oh no. I mean, Delfino Plaza. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there's some good songs on the soundtrack. I just think some people
Overall, it's
pretend.
not
I
that.
think if you look at all of the 3D Mario games, it's probably the one with the weakest soundtrack. Because Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, holy fuck, those
Oh,
soundtracks, good. You know what? No, if I had to give my favourite soundtrack that isn't Smash Brothers, it's Super Mario Galaxy 2. Because that game's
yeah.
soundtrack is
That
fucking
soundtrack shaped my
heat.
childhood.
It is heat. But
I
yeah,
completely agree.
there you go. There's my
Ah,
favourite soundtracks.
this just turned into us just fucking praising fucking certain games, which I mean, I guess sort of was the
I mean, it was
entire.
always going to happen, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, because the thing was the half of favorite soundtracks, but still.
Yeah.
Uh, anyhow, I
Move
think
on
we
to the next topic.
indeed we can. So next is the original thing was films or shows that made us cry, but because Jack is a big muscle man,
Mm,
nothing gets past that emotional barrier.
exactly.
Uh, we we changed it to things that just made us films and shows that have just made us any emotion. So would you like to say the emotion and say what made you
Right, well,
that emotion?
listen, right? There's a lot of films that have made me emotional, but not in like a sad way, in an angry way. Because, especially in recent years, I've found a lot of films make me angry because I'm disappointed in them. Because I know that they could be more, yet they aren't. And they are painfully average, or in some cases, just bad films, right? Some great examples of this are Aquaman. I remember I went to the cinema to see Aquaman with a friend of mine, uh, and we sat there for 2.5 to nearly 3 hours. And what we got was Jason Momoa showing off his biceps and his pecs and stuff with some horrendous CGI'd hair. And at about the halfway point, there's just a scene where Amber Heard and Jason Momoa walk out of the sea, and it's like a music video for Pitbull because there's a Pitbull song blasting in the background. And that film, I spent nearly £10 on a ticket to go see that film. And I came out feeling like I'd been robbed of about 20. Because that film was it made me feel like my life force was leaving my body. It was bad. It really, really, really was bad. I've not seen it since I was in the cinema. Maybe it's not as bad as I was thinking. I went into it thinking this probably isn't going to be very good, and lo and behold, I was proven right. But
I don't
oh
really
my
remember
god,
anything that happened in it.
it is
They were in a desert a little bit.
shocking. It's shocking. It's a shocking, shocking film. I think I've already talked about my film, so we'll get past that and go to my next example. But my god, I dislike that film. But my other good example is one that I think is quite obvious to fans of the franchise, or could be quite obvious to fans of the franchise. My next one is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Right?
Okay.
Now, I went to see this film again with a friend of mine.
All these are just the same fucking anecdote.
No, well, it was on short notice. I was just like, listen, I'm going to see Star Wars, and another friend of mine had flaked out on me. So I said, listen, you want to just come watch Star Wars? And he's like, yeah, okay. So he's not a big Star Wars fan. I think he was telling me while we were there, the last Star Wars film that he'd seen was, I think he watched like episode 4 with his dad, like a couple years before this, right? So he's not a big Star Wars fan.
Not a good starting point, but okay.
Yeah. So we go in. This film is 3 hours long, Rise of Skywalker. The tickets were Rise of Skywalker. It's not episode 9, so this is the latest one, right? Tickets were about £9. This is at the cinema in the town where we live. He turns to me, and I'm just sitting there, just like I've got like a slight look of disgust on my face. He turns to me and he just says to me, "This is fucking shit, isn't it?" And I go, "Yep." But we're in it for the long run now. So we pretty much, right? We just sat there through the entire thing.
Out.
No, I didn't walk out. I didn't walk out. I would have if I didn't pay for my tickets, but I did.
Well,
if I hadn't have paid for my tickets, and it was a high, if I hadn't paid such a high price for my tickets, because tickets are the place where the cinema where we live are quite expensive. If I hadn't paid so much for my tickets, I probably would have walked out, because that film is genuinely the worst film I've seen in the last like 3-4 years, and I've seen some shit films. It's worse than Aquaman, because at least with Aquaman, right? With Aquaman, I had incredibly low expectations, and they were met. As in, the film was shite, but I expected it to be shite, right? I had expectations for this because the trailers before made it actually look like it was going to be something decent. And because I thought, hot take here, I think The Force Awakens isn't a terrible film. I think it's fine.
It's not bad by any means.
No, Force Awakens is fine.
The clone of Episode 4.
Yeah, it is like just a rip-off of like both episodes 4 and 5. But this, J.J. Abrams, he's back after Rian Johnson fucked episode 8. So J.J. pretty much the first half of this film was just spent trying to fix the problems that were made in episode 8, and there were quite a few. So the first half an hour of the film is pretty much spent just being a second episode 8, but this time it's different. Episode 8.5 we'll call it, and then the other 2 hours of the film, because it's a 3-hour film, so a long fucking film, was spent being an actual film. And throughout the entire thing, I was just sitting there with like that same look of disgust on my face until we get to the end, where it's like yeah, pretty much. Like I'm just sitting there like that through most of it, and then by the end of it, I've got my head in my hands because I'm just like annoyed with it. Like I'm literally sitting there with my head in my hands, and then the film ends with the bit where she's like, my name is Ray. Ray who? Ray Skywalker.
Raymond.
The film ends, and I was so close to actually booing out loud at the film. Like, I laughed. Like, I just laughed at the end of the film. I was just like, oh, fuck off. I literally just started laughing because I thought it was I tried to convince myself that the end of that film was a joke. But they were being serious.
Yeah,
Genuine.
I mean,
That film makes me so angry. I still, same as Aquaman. I haven't seen it since, but I don't want to because I know what happens in it.
no one
And I
has
don't
seen
need
you.
to see it again. Oh, so shit, man. Like I thought
I
episode
remember
8 was
seeing
shit. Episode 9 is the
seeing
one.
the original script for Rise of Skywalker. It didn't sound too bad.
Well, like the leaked
But
original script is fine. It's just like the actual end product is just stupid. Because they retcon what they already. Because in episode 8, right? This is the point that I got so annoyed about. In episode 8, they established the fact that Rey has no relation to any, like, any like
important
Jedi's or any important
character.
characters, right? Because they literally say, Kylo Ren literally says in the film, "You're a nobody," because she has no relation to anybody. But then in episode 9, they make her Palpatine's granddaughter.
Eh,
Well, you'd think that would fucking flag up, wouldn't you? You'd think the Empire, considering that it's the granddaughter of their leader, you would think that the fucking Empire would know that she's his granddaughter. Like, what the fuck? It makes no sense. It is the worst. It's the worst fucking like twist. Like it's like M. Night Shyamalan levels of shit twist. But like at least M. Night Shyamalan, most of his twists aren't completely contradictory. This one, it's like they just tried to completely erase the existence of episode 8 and like all of what happened in episode 8 by just doing, oh yeah, no, by the way, you're not actually a nobody, you're actually the daughter of a clone of Emperor Palpatine. Like, what the fuck is this?
That's Palpatine ruining
I don't even want to fucking talk about that film anymore, man. It's just gonna make me angrier.
I mean, everyone by this point should know films that have made me emotional. Obviously, Avengers Endgame, Big Bang Theory, they've all made me cry. Um, and yeah, I think anything I say will not match up to that that rant that we've just had. So, but that was incredible. Thank you for that. Just got on mute now. You're so heated.
I'm just so fucking angry thinking about them fucking films, man.
I'm shocked. I've never seen you be like that before. God. Oh well, yeah. So, oh, that's not me for six. That has. Anyway, should we just go on to the final topic?
Yeah.
This is a game that's made me emotional. It's
pussy, bro.
something we talked about. Wow, thank you. But it's a game we talked about last week, and it is such an incredible game. And if you haven't guessed it by now, you're an idiot. We're talking about Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, oh boy, this game is good. It is good. I remember getting a Switch and just being so giddy for this game because My dad got a Switch. This wasn't when the Switch launched, but it's around the same time. It's when you couldn't get Switches. Um, so he obviously got his Switch. He got very lucky, and he was just like, "Do you want to play Breath of the Wild?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'll give it a go." This is my first ever Zelda experience of me actually playing, because obviously I've been a Zelda fan for years, but I've never really played a game. Um, so I played it and I was just like, it just blew me away at how good it was. Um, so obviously I played on his for a few weeks, and then we got a call saying that Switches were back in stock at there's a store in the UK called Game. So I went down, I managed to get one. I only had black Joy-Cons or grey Joy-Cons, but that was fine to me as long as I got the amazing Breath of the Wild, and it was amazing. And still to this day, I still play it like twice a year. Um, I was thinking about playing it last night, but I played Horizon Zero Dawn instead, which again, fantastic game. Uh, but yeah, it's one of the games that I frequently come back to because it's just good. And my little sister, she plays it now and she thinks it's great. And it's just a game that translates to everyone. Uh, like the music, incredible storytelling, so emotional. Um, like just the exploration, just going around interacting with characters, it's just incredible. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's alright. I mean, like, I'm pretty
Brilliant.
sure it's the only um it's the only Switch game I own where I've got more than 100 something hours. Because I think
Yeah,
the only game that comes close to it in terms of the amount of hours I've played on the Switch is Smash Ultimate. Um, yeah, Breath of the Wild, I've got like 300 and something hours on it. Like, it's ridiculous. Um,
once
I
you get
used,
into that thought of I need to complete this game, like 100% it.
yeah, you just
You
sort
just,
of.
it's one of the games just like, oh, I got to do all the shrines, got to get all the Koroks, and I don't know why it's so addicting.
I didn't get all the Koroks, but I did
I
definitely
did
try
that
and get
though.
all the shrines. I
You
think
needed to.
I can't remember, but if I remember correctly, I think I was only like 2 shrines, and then I would have just like completed all the shrines.
Did you not get them all?
No, I didn't. No, like I
Wow.
remember, I spent most of my time. You know, there's like the town development like side quest. I spent
Oh,
most
that
of
was
my time
so
just like doing
that's
that.
so good. That bloody side quest
Yeah,
is
I spent
insanely
most of my
good.
time just doing that. To be honest, um, just chilling in Cedar Rapids. You know, it's just one of them games where like you don't even have to play it just to like to do something. Like most of the time, I would play it just to play it. Like I would just go out into a fucking I'd just go out into like a big forest full of like um them like goblin things, and I would just go and kill them just because I just enjoyed playing the game. The mechanics of the game were good. You know, a lot of people. I
You
remember
literally just
a lot of
run
people
around in
used to
a
rag
horde.
on it. Yeah. Well, yeah, like that's what I would do. I'd just like run around my horse around just because.
You'll see an enemy camp, and you got to think like, if I moved this metal block, it would make an explosion, and then that would
Yeah.
ragdoll the enemies into the water, and I could just shoot them and kill them all. It's like you think about that, like, and you
Yeah.
don't even have to. You could just run in with a sword and kill them all.
Mm.
But for some reason, like you think of it like I have to do it this way,
Mm.
and it's like if they had that sort of mindset, like a stealth game, like it would just be like one of the best stealth games of all time. Like,
Mm.
but
Well, like I remember a couple of years ago, a lot of people used to rap on the mechanics of the game, but personally, I think the mechanics of the game are perfectly fine.
I mean, I understand that about the controls because the controls are very hard to get used
Yeah,
to.
the controls are a little bit funky.
Well, the mechanics are it's
Oh yeah,
just
no,
like
the in-game
weird
mechanics, like
physics, isn't it?
the physics engines and stuff are all perfectly
Well,
fine.
it's Havoc engine, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
I remember I researched that for college.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, so
Yeah,
yeah, it was just an insanely good game, man. I don't see
yeah, it's
why
alright.
people would rag on it personally. But
Well, I think it's just because like it's not everyone T, I suppose. Some people prefer more linear games, big exploration kind of ones like that.
well, that's definitely true because we saw at E3 like a lot of people were calling Nintendo shit, and then like people would be like, "Oh, what about Breath of the Wild?" And they'll be like, "I don't care about Breath of the Wild, really." Like,
Mm.
it's not a game that everyone can get. I don't know if it's because it's Nintendo and people are like, "Oh, Nintendo are bad," or they
I
always create
think
shit
that
games.
is part of it. I think that's part of it. Another part is because they haven't ported Bloons TD6 to Switch just yet. I think that's a big part for me. That's why I stopped playing the Switch.
God,
I mean, hey, I've got 40 hours on Bloons TD6 on my laptop. Like, don't mess. Bloons is a fucking corking game. It's got on sale.
Oh, it's on sale, is it? But is it like
I
is
don't
it
know if it's
only?
on sale now, but it was when I bought it. It was like I got it for like £2.50 on a Steam sale.
There you go,
Well
everyone.
worth it.
2.50.
Yeah. So if you see Bloons TD6 go on sale, buy it. I wouldn't recommend getting the phone version though. The mobile, not actually that good.
Well, yeah. If anyone gave me the opportunity to play a game on mobile or PC, I'll say PC.
Yeah.
It was like the other day. Well, it literally just yesterday. Um, my sister, she went to me. Oh, Joe, why don't you book a COVID vaccine? I was just like, yeah, I'll do it later.
You don't need to book one.
I know, but I have now anyway. But yeah.
I know.
So I was like, yeah, I'll book one later. She's like, but you won't know. I was like, yeah, I'll do it later. I'll do it on my laptop. 'Cause then that way it'll be better than my phone because I've got platforms. Probably put in like, I'll put my names like Joseph Gubbins or something, yeah, shit
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And then and she's like, well, I can do it for you on your phone. I was just like, well, no, I'll just do it later. And I know all my details. You don't have to ask me then. And she's like, no, I'll do it for you. I'll do it. And I was like, no,
She really
you
wants to
don't need
book your
to.
COVID test. She really wants to
I
book your
know.
COVID test, Joe.
And I was just like, why are you so fixated? She's like, well, you could do it at the same time. My brother's name is Matt. And it's like, you do it at the same time as Matt. And I was just like, well, yeah, but we could just fucking phone each other, say what time we're doing,
Yeah, you could
or
do
I
that.
could literally just go talk to him. And she's like, well,
He's just
I'll just book him
he's
one.
just sitting in the
And
same
I'll
room.
book him one. And I was just like, oh my god. So I was just like, no, I'll do it when I get home. That's it. 10 minutes later, she's on the phone. She's like, right, I booked you a COVID vaccine. What's your phone number? I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. So,
Should have just done a walk in. That's what I do.
well, yeah, it would have been easier, but at least I've got his schedule now. I know. If I waited for a walk-in, I would have gone. I
Waited
just
for a
could be
walk
bothered.
in. I didn't wait. I just went.
I mean, waiting for a day that I'm free, 'cause obviously.
Oh yeah.
But now I can at least say no. I'm not. Well, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
So
anything.
there you go,
For
folks.
2 weeks.
Breaking news. I am vaccinated, but Joe isn't. I have. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm anti-vaxxer.
Well, I wouldn't be saying that if
No,
I were you, Joe.
I shouldn't say that.
You shouldn't be
I'm
saying
not.
that. Yeah.
I'm
No.
not.
Well, you know,
Vaccines are very. I get a flu jab every year, folks.
since I've had the vaccine, I've had a strong urge to buy Office 365.
Oh no! Oh no! This guy's kind
Hmm.
of sus.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Well, Well, there
I
we
mean,
go
hey,
then.
you got an
Definitely
Xbox
won.
instead of a PlayStation, so
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
maybe maybe Bill
Well, I
Gates
mean,
has decided.
Pretty much, I only did it so I could play Forza Horizon 4 more.
Because we know how
Well,
much I.
Forza was a game. It looks good, but I hate racing games.
Wow, Joe. You
Even
hate.
Mario Kart.
Oh,
I don't
no.
hate Mario Kart, but
Mate, racing games are the best.
no.
And for the fourth time today, Craig. Oh boy, howdy.
Craig.
Tell you what,
Have you listened to Craig is?
the viewers might know. Craig is the name of the bot that we use to record our Discord calls for the podcast, and he today has been the most unreliable thing. Like, he's worse today than when the podcast actually had to just stop because Discord went down. Like, he was better on that day than he has been today. Like, he's been shocking today. It's awful. Anyway, but to save us
I would
having
just
to
like
deal
to
with him
say,
disappearing anymore. Oh,
yeah, I do like Mario Kart. I've just never had people who are as good as
just
me in
no.
Mario Kart to play with.
Oh, mate, well,
And I don't
fucking
like
race me,
switches
mate.
online.
Race me, mate. I'll fucking
Yeah, we
batter you.
can. We'll do a Mario Kart special.
Fucking batter you.
Book it, Vince.
Mario Kart in a Hell in a Cell match.
We'll be on up, down, down. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, there you go. We'll call it left, right, left, right.
BA start.
Yeah. But anyway, to save Craig disappearing on us once again.
And we should make him do more. Make him do more work. He's had a day off today.
He's been crap, hasn't he, Craig? Jesus. Anyway, yeah, so we're just gonna end the podcast here.
It's the last topic anyway.
Yeah, we'd pretty much finished the last topic anyway, so Craig leaving, I suppose, gave us the catalyst to leave. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the podcast this week, which I highly doubt it, but if you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, comment down below your favourite moment. Then yeah, share it with your friends, and yeah, enjoy and come back next week where
Fuckheads.
yeah, that
was rude.
get out of it, nerds.
Get out.
Go
enjoy your days.
Or don't. You know, we're not the boss of you.
Hate them.
Yeah. If you hate your day, you hate your day. Leave.
We'll be here for you.
Yeah, just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
No.
Trash. Absolute trash. I was disgusted.